In the third episode of All About Lapland podcast, we're going to travel to Ylläs and have our very first guest. She is Miss Tinja Tamminen, the owner of Seven Fells Hostel situated in Accommodation village Ylläs. Go find her at Seven Fells Hostel and visit sevenfellshostel.com. Tinja is also a budget travel expert in Lapland and will discuss with her a few tips that will help you save money on your trip to Lapland. Well, hello there, Miss Tinja Tamminen.
Hello.
It's a beautiful evening here in Ylläs. The
The
light is still on outside. It's almost midnight when we're starting, and the topic of today's podcast is going to be Lapland on a budget, and I hear you're having some good tips about that.
Sure.
And go follow Tinja and her hostel online. It's at 7 with the letter Fells Hostel on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And the website is 7 Fells Hostel, but not as a number 7, but as a word 7, SEVEN Fells Hostel. Anyway, you can see the address later. So, Tinja, please tell about yourself. How did you end up here in Ylläs?
Well, basically, I've been backpacking most of my 20s, and then I was working in a hostel in Scotland.
Oh, Scotland.
Yep.
Wow, nice.
And then I went to Australia, came back to Finland, and then got the job in a hostel in Tampere. And I was there for about 3 years, and then I moved up here to work in tourism. And for some reason, I'm still here after almost 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
So why did you choose Lapland, out of all places?
Basically by accident. I found the property and I had always dreamed about opening my own hostel. And I saw loads of potential in our first property that we had. And then there was no hostels here, really. So, and especially in this area. So I decided that it looks so pretty, this northern lights. Well, I'd never seen it in the summer, so I didn't know how it looks like and what's the summer tourism here. And so why not?
So you came by the property and you've decided to rent it and build the hotel there. Hostel there. Sorry.
It's with the S.
Yes, it's with the S.
Yeah.
And you've been renting that for several years and having customers there.
Yeah, I did rent it for about 6 years, and we stopped renting it in the end of April this year, and now we concentrate only on this property we opened last summer, and the building where we are now is our new property just next door, the hostel.
So what happened is that last autumn you've opened the second hostel.
Last summer
you've opened a second hostel in the center of Accommodation village, and you've been running 2 hostels in the wintertime.
Yep.
So that must have been something. Running 2 properties.
It was quite an adventure, I would say. I kind of realized that I'm not really a businesswoman type of person. It's really hard work trying to balance everything, keep everything in your hands, and so it was an experience, but I'm happy with the smaller hostel.
So now what happened is that you're only running the small hostel here at Accommodation Center, so basically you've relocated.
Yep.
So tell us about this property. What kind of accommodation do you offer?
We have 7 rooms, 6 are private rooms. And then there is 1 dormitory for 4 people, and then we have 2 cabins, 200 meters.
Like the one I'm staying in right now.
Yes.
That's actually your cabins and your hostel are my favorite place right now here in Accommodation because it's so close to everything. So it's close to the food joints, 2 minutes to walk to the best northern light spot in the village, and you can start your adventures right from here. It's an amazing place.
And also you can actually see the northern light just like in our property, because we are, I don't know, 50 meters, 100 meters from the road, and they switch off the street lights at 10 o'clock in the evening. So basically we are in the darkness.
You're basically trying to say we're stitching on the northern lights.
Yeah.
well, the northern lights, actually, it's true that they're very kind of, they're more frequent to see here than in Rovaniemi area. So all you need to do is switch off the extra lights, to have darkness. And that's a really cool thing about this area. Speaking about this area, tell us where we are, like geographically, how we would describe this place, Akaslampalo. Where exactly in the world are we?
We are pretty up north.
Pretty much up north.
Yeah.
About 200 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle.
Something like that, yeah. Basically, it's funny to go traveling like somewhere. Well, I've been to Bali, and then all the drivers or the accommodation owners that I've been staying with, like I'm always showing them, like, okay, like they're asking where you're from, and I show them, and I'm like, oh, that's like really north.
Yeah, I bet many people have no idea where we are right now. So, to tell you exactly where we are in Kolari municipality of Finnish Lapland. That's on the western border, basically, with Sweden. It's about how much it is in kilometers to the Swedish border? 40, 50?
About 40.
40 kilometers from the Swedish border, so pretty much on the left there in Lapland, and in the middle of the beautiful Seven Fells of Ylläs.
It's like, for me, this is like one of the most beautiful areas in Finland and Lapland. So I really enjoy it here.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
I know.
I mean, there is like this point in time until somebody finds Ylläs. Before they have no idea where this is. Yeah. And they find it, they come here once. And now I have people on our Facebook page saying, I'm coming here for the 7th time this winter, because I've totally hooked on Ylläs and I want to come here all over again and again. I mean, I have several people on our page saying that.
Yeah, and if you come here, like, let's say in January, April, sometime in the summer or in the autumn, everything is so different. Even during the winter time, it's so different, like the snow conditions and the light especially. Like, of course, during this December, we have only like a few hours of daylight, and then it's like this blue moment thing, and then in April it's like sunlight for almost 24 hours already then.
That's amazing how seasons change fast. I mean, that was the first ever episode on our podcast that I made from back home, telling people about the different seasons and telling that there are 8 of them because of this dramatic change in light. From now we are like almost at the top of the light calendar, and in the kind of next month we'll have dark nights again. But first they'll go dark red color all night. I mean, it's beautiful when there's no clouds, like about the same time where we are right now, midnight to 1 a.m. like this whole landscape, the skyscape is red. It's amazing. I love this kind of red moment too. That's just 2 or 3 weeks in end of July and early August before the Northern Lights season. That's something special, like this light. I mean, I'm having goosebumps, like remembering this kind of light, because it's stunning. There's no way to tell it. Well, anyway, going back to our topic, traveling on a budget doesn't always mean making big compromises. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, like, people really think that Lapland is super expensive.
But it is. I mean, it is.
You can pay
like a big amount of money for your travel, especially if you're coming at the top of the season. You're paying like enormously for hotels and all of the flights. But,
sure, but at the same time, if you book your flights earlier.
What does mean earlier? Like months,
in the autumn.
Years? In the autumn?
Yeah, in the autumn, for example. Of course, now it's really hard to tell what's happening, let's say, in December.
Yes.
But normally, like, there's flight offers for Christmas and New Year's time and for December. sometime in September, like the flights are starting to like become available, and the cheapest flights you can get from Helsinki to Kittilä are like 25 euros one way.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is it with Finnair or Norwegian?
Norwegian. And with Finnair, it's like sometimes 100 euros return, 150, 200 euros, something like that.
I see.
So it's not like massively expensive. But of course, if you book like last minute or within a month, then of course, for sure.
You're paying the full price.
Yeah. But if you are coming, let's say in January, early February, like the flights are normally pretty all right.
All right. Let's discuss how to get here, because it's an important question, because we are a little bit off the beaten path here.
Yeah.
So how do you get to Ylläs?
Well, basically there's a few flights from Europe, Switzerland, Paris, Germany, I think from maybe 2 cities in Germany, and London. You can fly directly to Kittilä, which is KTT. And
KTT is, where is it?
It's about 60 kilometers
60
from
kilometers from
here. Yeah. So there is always a bus transfer to Akaslampala after each flight.
So you either fly directly from Europe to Kittilä, which is one of the most northern airports, and you catch a bus from there.
Yep.
Or you
fly to Helsinki.
Via Helsinki. You go via Helsinki, you go to Kittilä or Rovaniemi. It's the second airport that you can get from to Ylläs, but then you'll have to have a rented car available at Rovaniemi.
Yeah, normally, because the public transport here is a little bit tricky.
It's like doesn't exist.
Yeah,
so to speak.
Yeah, it kind of exists, but kind of not. So
it's a little bit like Northern Lights. You have to catch it.
Yeah, you have to be lucky to catch it. Yeah. So basically, like, of course, you can get like a transfer via Kittilä Airport, like Rovaniemi to Kittilä Airport.
All right, so that's the flight side. What's next? What kind of options we have?
There's also a night train from Helsinki to Kolari, and that takes about 14 hours. But
14? That much? Okay.
But of course you can sleep. It leaves like quite late in the evening from Helsinki, so you are already feeling tired maybe, and then you arrive here. It depends on the season. Sometimes 9 o'clock or sometimes at 11 o'clock. During the high season, there's 2 trains.
I see.
So,
Well, it's fair to say that traveling with railroad in Finland, especially in the night train, when you have to book yourself like a room called a berth, or you book yourself, a bed inside a compartment for 2 people, it's rather expensive. It's not on the cheapest side, I would say. But the good thing about that is that you can spend the night in the train, so you don't have to spend money for the hotel. That's kind of my tip, because you don't have to pay for the hotel on that night.
Okay, but now you're talking with the budget travel expert.
Okay, tell me where did I go wrong?
Basically, also our railways are like having offers. So now they publish the trains for the autumn.
So now we are in July 2020.
Yes.
And
normally in the autumn they start publishing the offers for the winter time. So basically the cheapest one you can get is a bed in a berth for 49 euros one way.
That's quite nice.
It is quite nice.
I pay about like 150.
I know.
When I buy my tickets, 150 a person.
I know. But it's actually really cheap, because they do the offers. So all you have to do is plan a bit beforehand. And of course you can also, there's one thing what you can also do is that if you see like a cheap seat ticket, you can book that and then ask the conductor on the train that if they have any beds available. And on the new trains they cost 35 euros extra, and on the old trains it costs 25 euros extra. So sometimes you can actually get a really good deal with that.
I see.
But you just have to be basically lucky with the beds, and I wouldn't really recommend leaving it for March. Normally in January and February it's really good chance that there's beds available. So
But not in March.
Huh?
But not in March.
Not really, because that's really the high season for Finnish, yeah. But January, February, those are kind of high season, but kind of like mid-ish season.
Nice. Well, one more tip from myself would be that you don't necessarily need to book a bed in the night train. Technically speaking, you can only book a seat, which will be like much more affordable, and that's what I used to do when I was like really young in my early 20s.
Yeah.
I used to travel without the bed, only with the seated compartment. Of course, you know, if you are
40
aging like we are,
Yeah.
you cannot support that kind of travel anymore because you won't have any sleep. But in my young days, I would do that, and that would be very.
Me too. I could never afford that.
So if you're a young person, maybe if you're a backpacker, that's what I'm trying to say, maybe just a place in the seated compartment will be the thing for you. But of course, for families and people who want a little bit more comfort, you have to book both the place on the train plus the bed or the whole compartment if there are two of you.
And also, like, the seat tickets they can be as low as 35 euros all the way from Helsinki to Kolari, and that's like about, well, not really 1,000 kilometers, but like a long way.
So with the night train, you arrive to Kolari, which is the center of this municipality where we are right now, although it's in totally different part of the municipality. So you have to travel 40 more kilometers to get here. How you do that?
There's a bus waiting for each train arriving.
Each train?
Yeah.
No exceptions?
No exceptions, and they are also waiting if the train is delayed.
That's
so good. Sometimes during the winter time the conditions can be really harsh, so the train can be delayed even for 2 hours, but then the bus will go there and wait for the customers.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But you have to pay extra for
it's
the bus.
about 12 euros, 12.60.
That's not bad.
No, that's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
And do they stop at one spot or do they circle around the hotels?
No, they're actually going to, you can get off on any stop, and also they are going to the hotels.
I see. That's nice.
So the nearest stop to us is actually the hotel or just across us.
So like a few hundred meters?
Yeah.
Not more than that?
No.
Great.
I think maximum 200.
Great. So guys, book your winter tickets in the autumn if you want to travel by train. Yeah. That's basically the trick.
Yeah.
Great.
And next tip.
Next tip.
Yeah.
With the train as well?
No, with the bus.
Okay, let's go to the bus.
There's a budget bus company called Onnibus. And they are driving all the way from Helsinki to Ylläs and then to the other ski resort next to us. And the first tickets are actually €1 each.
€1 each?
Yep.
How is that possible?
I have no idea.
How do you book yourself a ticket for €1?
Well, basically you just have to follow them and follow the information when they are publishing them. So the first few tickets are €1. Then they of course get more expensive, I think from €5 to €20. So I think the most expensive tickets what I've seen are something like 30-40 euros.
Oh, that's okay.
That's all right, yeah.
Yeah. But of course it's more for backpackers again. You wouldn't go traveling with the young kids on the bus because it's going to be hell.
That's going to be hell, yeah.
Yes. So Onnibus, it's ONNI bus.
Yes.
Go find that somewhere online.
Yeah.
And of course, I think these tips are not only relative to Ylläs, but any kind of travel in Lapland.
Well, basically from southern Finland to Lapland, because within Lapland there's no chance to catch any that kind of buses with cheap offers.
Okay.
Now maybe there is some bus companies who are driving a little bit more, but we are still developing our public transport. I would say that in a nice way.
I see.
Yeah.
So any more tips about the transport?
Let me think.
If not, let's go to our next topic, and that's budget accommodation. How we go about that?
Well, basically there is few hostels in Lapland. Of course, us in Ylläs. Then there's Hostel Cafe Koti and Wherever Hostel in Rovaniemi.
Great places, by the way.
Yes.
Beautiful
and
places.
I'm really sorry, but I can't remember the... Or maybe I can remember. I think it's called Visatupa, somewhere above Rovaniemi.
Visatupa. I've heard that name. Yeah.
I think that's the name.
Okay.
But basically, there's not really any hostels in Lapland.
Really? No hostels?
No, because Lapland, the tourism here is like kind of focused on a few things like back in the days, but it has changed a lot within 5 years. So like we were the first hostel to open on this side of Lapland, and then Hostel Cafe Koti opened, I think
16, I think it was.
Yeah, I think 2 years after us. 1 or 2 years, I can't remember.
Well, if it's open in 2016 and you have opened in 2013, so it's 3 years after.
No, 14.
14. Well,
Yeah,
that's
we
2
opened.
years.
Yeah, 2
Okay.
years. Okay, I can't remember. But anyway, so basically the hostels in Finland, they have really gone up now. Like there's new hostels, and it's actually a really good thing, because the hostels in Finland are normally good quality, and it's not like you know what we maybe got used to when we were in our 20s, at least.
So the level has gone up.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
what hostel basically means is that you have your own room, but you don't have a shower and bathroom.
Yeah. So basically,
That's kind of the definition of what is hotel and hostel.
Yeah.
You have to have your own private bathroom.
Yeah. So basically.
But otherwise, the rooms here, they are like excellent. I mean, the only thing that you're compromising is if you want to go to the bathroom or to the shower, you have to go into the corridor and use the common facilities for that. But otherwise, you're like you're set for a good sleep.
Well, of course, because you are paying for the sleep. You are paying for the night. You are not paying for, like, I don't know, daily activities. So, for example, myself, I really want to concentrate on, like, good beds and, like, offering good night's sleep. Because...
Yeah. Well, the beds are amazing here, because it's the best sleep I've ever had in any kind of hotel or hostel with the S in any part of Finland. You know, even paying over 150 euros for a night, you are not guaranteed to have a good bed and a good pillow. I mean, the pillows I had in a couple of hotels, I'm not going to say names because I don't want to sound negative or anything, but there's a lot of, you know, assumptions that people make. You pay a big price. Like I've paid myself 163 euros for a night, and I had barely 4 or 5 hours of sleep because it wasn't good. And here I sleep like a baby. And the night here is like, it's just half the price or something, more or less.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But because...
So it's amazing. I mean, it depends on if the people really care about the guests or not. And I have a feeling that hostel owners are the ones who care more about the guests.
Well, of course, because like it's not only for business, it's our life and it's our lifestyle. So it's not like we are some random people like in the reception or random people behind the scenes like running the thing and telling everybody that you should earn more money. It's just us basically. Like my friends own a hostel in Rome, my friends own a hostel like in France, and you know, basically this is what you get.
Yeah.
A good and bad.
Yeah. So talking about the price levels of your hostel, what kind of price we're talking about? I mean, I understand as if this is of July 2020 and it might change in the future, but what kind of, you know, price we're talking about now?
Well, basically our dormitory prices are now 29 euros per person per night. That includes the bed linen and towels and communal sauna and like organic coffee and tea and some cereals in the morning.
So that's the backpacker option with the in a shared room.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's a single room for 39 euros. and double or twin room for 69 euros a night.
That's nothing much, really. That's very affordable.
Well, for sure, yeah.
Compared to hotels, which, you know, as much as I like the hotel service, their price can be a little bit high even for my budget, you know.
Yeah. Well, basically, that's the price what I'm used to pay, and I always book like a really nice room for myself, and summer is not our high season.
So we're talking about summer prices now,
Yeah.
which are a little bit lower.
Yeah.
So what are the prices for the winter season then, for the high season here?
We used to have 99 euros a night in a private room during last winter, but we also served continental breakfast back then. But this year, we don't really know about the breakfast situation yet.
So what kind of price range we're talking about for the winter season?
About
100 euros
well,
for 2 persons.
89.
89 to 100 for 2 persons.
Yeah.
And
And the dormitory is 35.
oh, not a big race though for the dormitory.
But basically, the Lapland is so expensive because our expenses are so high.
That's
Like-
true.
like
the
what-
taxes are obscene.
Taxes and electricity.
Yeah.
That's the main cost.
Yeah.
Like I would love to offer beds for like 20 euros a night, but I simply can't because like our electricity is like massive.
Yeah.
Like it's
It's so cold here, so you have
Yeah.
to like put the heat on.
yeah, and it's not like what is it, like central heating.
Yeah, you can't get central heating in these parts. You know, it's not economical to get central heating for a village of how many hundreds of inhabitants? Are we talking?
600.
600 inhabitants. So the only way is electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit different in Rovaniemi. We do have central heating, so that's quite nice, but not everywhere, even in Rovaniemi.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe one tip I can give is just go travel in Lapland a little bit off season, because the most expensive season is definitely Christmas season and December. So if you're able to shift your vacation like 2 weeks before that or 2 weeks after Christmas season, like beginning of January.
Yeah, beginning
Like
of January.
second and third and fourth week of January are like, it's, I wouldn't say half price, but like there's a dip in prices like everywhere for accommodation, and we go relatively low or like reasonable pricing until March, when this is when the Finnish people start traveling. This is when they have their own vacation.
Yeah,
And then
or
again-
end of February. when
Yeah,
the
end of
ski-
February again, and so we have the prices go up again in beginning of March and February, March, and then it goes down again in end March and April. So
Yeah,
that's great
basically
season.
after
Yeah.
Easter, our high season is
Yeah.
finished. And well, for example, some hotels they close after Easter here. Of course, in Rovaniemi, it's like the season is kind of little bit like different.
Yeah, our winter ends a little bit earlier, so many places by the end of March it's considered that the season is over in Rovaniemi. So I wouldn't start traveling in Rovaniemi in April. Well, unless you are the freak for Northern Lights. April is great for Northern Lights, but the activities are all over in April in Rovaniemi. But here, it's the prime season. The April is like, you have so much snow here, and it's so
Yeah.
much more wintry.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of April, we can just do all the same stuff as you can do in January.
Except like the huskies and stuff like that. Well, you can still do them,
Yeah.
but I mean, like the Finnish don't really use that services or those kind of services.
So the services can be closed, but you can enjoy all like this kind of self-powered activities
Yeah,
like
you
skiing,
can go skiing,
alpine skiing,
yeah,
snowshoeing,
yeah,
sort
true.
of thing.
And of
mountain
course, like
biking.
still like smaller companies who have their own huskies, of course they will do stuff. Like it's not a problem if you are traveling, let's say in April. But of course, it depends also the snow situation.
All right. So there is 2 more tips for you. Summer passes from some of the hotels that can give you a certain amount of nights, like after a certain amount of nights you get one for free if you are staying within one chain and then shifting your travel a little bit off season. So do we have any more tips regarding the accommodation?
Well, basically just a normal tip that book the accommodation you actually really want to stay in. As a hostel owner, I would say that.
That's
But
nice.
it's really true, because if you are investing so much money on your holiday, let's say in Lapland or anywhere, just book something that you actually really want to stay in, and like do your research, like choose the one that you love, because that's how I travel. I always check like some of the reviews. Of course, I try to see behind them. Like, I don't care about small things, but like, of course, I like if they have like good beds, good customer service, otherwise really good atmosphere, I'm like hooked.
Yeah.
So just check your options, and there's so many options also in Lapland, like farm stays and hostels and different kind of hotels. We also got like a new glass building. They're not igloos, but the same thing. Like lots of glass everywhere.
Panoramic cottages.
Yeah.
With
So
panoramic views.
yeah, so 6 kilometers from here, you can also book those
Yeah.
and experience something different.
That's nice. So moving on, let's talk about the activities in more detail. So do you have any tips regarding the activities?
Well, basically, if you really want to experience, let's say, huskies or reindeer rides or something kind of not so normal. Well, kind of normal, but not so normal for us. Like it's not the everyday thing. Special, yes, that's the word. Like you can experience those. Just book your thing and then spend the money on something else. Like, for example, like we rent snowshoes for 10 euros a day. You can like go and see at least a couple of fells during the day, or at least one. That's enough.
Yeah.
And have a good view about the area. And during the March and April, you don't actually really need snowshoes.
Yeah.
I'm not renting anything for, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to have like extra money if I know that the path is like you can just walk up.
Yeah. So if you want to visit the most famous fells here, usually the snow is compressed enough by many people who want to go up and down. So you can really walk with your normal shoes if you stay on the path. However, if you want to go off the trail, then you will need the snowshoes.
Yeah. And also in December and January, you really need snowshoes, because like there's not that many people, and it's snowing like quite a lot. So there's always fresh snow, and sometimes there comes a lot of snow.
Yeah.
So you might not even see the path.
That's true. Well, the snow level can reach here 1 meter, 1.5, and easily 2 meters in some certain areas in the fells. So you do need some kind of, support. You cannot just go anywhere with your normal boots. So it's a good idea to have snowshoes if you want to go off path. And my favorite way to travel in the wilderness in winter, well, actually there are two of them. One of them is the snow skis, or this kind of, they look like alpine skis, but they're not designed for, for going downhill. They are designed that you can wear your really warm boots, like big boots, and you can strap yourself inside with the plastic straps, same way as you do with snowshoes. But the skis, they can carry your weight and with the backpack when you go explore the wilderness. And there are many places that you can just, can stop your car, put the skis on, and just go, inside the wilderness.
Yeah.
Of course, it's very physical. Yeah. You will need, some sticks. But that's kind of my latest, thing to go take pictures, and even Northern Lights. And you can rent those in local shops. You can rent these skis. Yeah. Sometimes they're called altai skis, but it depends on the manufacturer. So, and the second one is, of course, winter fat biking. So biking on the mountain bike with the really wide tires. There is not much pressure in the tires to keep them soft, but then you can go out and explore. And there is a special path network for mountain bikes, for this kind of mountain bikes out there. And the snow is compressed on these trails, so you can rent such a mountain bike and go out and explore. Of course, that also depends. Last December when we went mountain biking, we got into trouble because it was snowing the whole day, and the path was really made in the early morning. It was firm, but in the afternoon there was like 10 centimeters of fresh snow, and we got really stuck. So we had to we could not, drive easily anymore. We had to walk out of the forest, but that's kind of exception. That's the early winter kind of thing. If you're coming in February, March and April, you won't have that problem, obviously.
Normally not, yeah. But at the same time we are in Lapland, so weather-wise anything can happen.
So we have 3 tips here. We have hiking on the fells from Tinja, and from myself you can rent the snow skis and fat bikes. So what else do we have?
What else do we have? Of course, if somebody is into skiing, like cross-country skiing or downhill skiing, Ylläs is one of the biggest ski resorts in Finland. We forgot that.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's 2 ski resorts operating on 2 sides of the fell, and one fell looks here into the Akaslompolo village, and the other side of the ski resort looks into another village called Ylläsjärvi. Yeah. So you kind of, whenever you stay on either side, you can go up and see both sides.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you can basically have lunch in one village and then go up and come back to your village.
Yeah, or even you can have a lunch like on top of the fell.
Oh yeah, that's a great place. Yeah. They have a nice little restaurant there.
Yeah.
I love that. Cool. I love that. And cross-country skiing is also a great way to explore. Comes to mind, if you rent cross-country skis, that's much more affordable than alpine skis, because for alpine skiing you have to pay both for the lift tickets and for the equipment. When for the cross-country you're only paying for the equipment, there is no ticket to go on the trails.
All the trails are actually free.
They're free. If you have your own skis, you can just go.
Yeah, so basically us as businesses and like some cabin owners, we pay like a yearly fee.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, it's like a common thing. And also we are selling the maps. So for 10 euros you can get the map of the area, and you support, all that money goes to maintain the tracks. Yeah. And there's 330 kilometers of ski tracks.
That's a lot. A lot.
That's really a lot.
And speaking about cross-country skiing, the cool thing about this place, you have these very small cafes which are out in the wild, like in the middle of nowhere, but just by the cross-country skiing tracks. Mm-hmm. So while you're skiing, you can find one of those little cafes. Two come to mind, Kotamaja and Latvamaja. They are in this eastern direction from Akaslompolo village inside the Pallas Ylläs National Park. So you can stop there for lunch, which is very affordable. For 10 euros, you can have soup and bread and a coffee, and that's pretty affordable.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the energy you need to go on. Yeah. So, have we got any more tips about activities?
Well, basically, I'm a really bad seller. You have told me that. I'm really bad at this.
Well,
but I'm going to say it anyway. Basically, I always advise that our guests, they can see the Northern Lights for free if they are lucky.
Yeah, tell us about the Northern Lights.
So basically all you need is a clear sky and good magnetic activity. We start to see them around end of August and see them until mid-April before it gets too bright. And basically you just go outside and check few webcams and magnetic activity on a couple of websites, and that's it.
That's it.
So
how often, in your opinion, you get to see Northern Lights here in Ylläs?
Pretty often.
A few times a week, maybe?
Yeah, unless, of course, if there's a snowstorm or something like that.
Those can last for 2 weeks straight, sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, but
on average, let's say a few times a week.
Yeah, a few times a week. But basically, I would say that They start to appear sometime around 10 o'clock in the evening or midnight. Sometimes, of course, the highest activity could be like in the middle of the night. Sometimes we are really lucky and they appear like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but that's really rare. But
it's about December when the night is so long. It's almost like 18 hours of night.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not completely dark, so don't be afraid to come here. Like you can see, because we have the moon and the snow and the northern lights. So
yeah, it's amazing how bright it is in winter, even though there's not much daylight.
Yeah, that's true.
Like in the full moon, you can just go around at midnight, without a headlamp, because there's like it's very weird and very kind of cool light.
Yeah, it is.
And everything sparkles, especially in the cold weather. It's like tick, 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 all this. Snowflakes sparkle.
Yeah, and if you have the northern lights at the same time, it's just like magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So regarding northern lights, there's also one cool place not far away from the hostel, and it's the shore of Lake Akaslampolo. And of course, Akaslampolo is the name of this village where we are, and it's just like 5 minutes walk from here or any kind of hotel in the area, and it's free to visit. You can just go there in any weather, in autumn or in the middle of the winter, or even in spring, and you just stay there for enough time to give yourself more chances for another lights, and basically you're set.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not saying you shouldn't buy any activities. If you want to go on snowmobile safari at nighttime, just go and do it. That's
the experience. Yeah,
it's
and also
experience. But you don't have to.
No.
Yeah.
And if you can afford a guide, like let's say, for example, yourself or a couple of other people who are doing like really good tours, like in Lapland, like where they will drive you somewhere where there's no clouds, even if it's cloudy weather.
Yeah.
So basically, like, I would say that we would probably see the northern lights almost every night, but of course, like, there can be clouds or it can be snowy or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's nature. So like I would recommend coming here at least for 2 nights or 3 nights minimum. Like
I would say 4 days to a week to get really good chances.
Yeah. Because 1 night for just to see the northern lights is like nothing. Also, there's so many other things to see here.
Yeah.
So you don't really see this kind of nature anywhere else.
Yeah, well, Ylläs deserves more than 2 nights. I mean, it deserves at least 4 to 5 nights. I never come here for less than 3 nights and 4 days, because I mean, what's the point then?
Yeah.
You don't get to enjoy everything. You have to have this kind of peace of mind and this kind of mood to to come home, remember what you have done today, like warm up in the sauna, have some food, and then you just go again the next morning. I mean, it's
and also like if you stay in the hostels, you meet other travelers, and like you can actually find somebody who is driving around or like even go to see the northern lights together or go for a meal or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, why to come here just for 1 night?
Yeah, and staying at the hostel might just bring you that kind of freedom to stay here, because if you have like 600, 700, 800 euros budget for accommodation, you can only get maybe like 3 or 4 nights at big hotel or like an igloo hotel, while here you can have like a week. Yeah, and you can
easily. I don't know, I can't count anymore.
Yeah, well, if you spend like 100 euros for accommodation per night, you have to have some food. Okay. That might be another, I would say at least 40, 50 euros per day for food, considering you're going to eat out at least once or twice, because that's what you do when you're traveling. Of course, if you book one of the cottages in the area, and you also offer cottages, you can cook your own meals. So that way you can considerably lower the expensive to maybe 15, 20 euros.
Yeah, it depends what you are buying. Like, I mean, in the
But I mean regular food, just some chicken, rice, something like that, some bread, eggs, milk.
Also, actually, one good tip for budget travelers is that, like, for example, in the supermarket, the last opening hour, it's, I think, minus 60% on
Really?
the discounted prices.
Oh, the one that are like expiring products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like almost nothing for those products. Of course, if there's something left, but normally during the winter time, there is. So if you're really traveling on a tight budget, like you just go there and buy your stuff and cook in the shared kitchen. We have all the spices and oil and everything. So
That's cool.
yeah.
All right. So we kind of naturally dwelled into the food area. So have you got any more tips regarding the food? Maybe like nice places to visit here?
Yeah, there is a few restaurants which I really recommend. Like if you can afford, let's say 20, I would say 30 euros for one meal, including drinks. Like it's so easy to do it. Like you can buy some local fish or Lappish lamb, which is really nice meal. It's the restaurant where they're serving those is called Rouhe.
What does that mean, by the way? Crumble?
Crumble, I think so, yeah.
Crumble, rauhe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there is also a cafe called Routa, which is
I think that almost sounds the same for our viewers, like rauhe.
yeah, Rouhe and Routa,
Routa.
but they mean completely different things.
Rauta means like this
But it's
frost. It's underground.
Underground, yeah.
What's this called in English? There's a name for that.
I have no idea actually.
Well, that's frost.
But anyway.
Yeah, that's a frost.
Yeah.
Frost and it's different.
Yeah, but they have like soup lunch during the day, which is really affordable, and also some burgers.
Yeah.
And then there's a pub in the village, and of course, if you are our guest, you get a small discount on all those
really?
places. Yeah.
Is there like a special word that unlocks the discount?
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah,
Not going to tell you.
You have to come here and find that out.
Yeah.
That's
But
cool.
then there's also like a couple of fine dining restaurants if you want to. Like,
Oh sure, I mean even though you're on a budget, you totally must go at least on one night for like to a really cool place. I mean that's must.
Yeah.
You can you can basically save on your other days by cooking your own meals, but then you go and have a food experience.
Yeah, and just don't drink out like I don't know, the whole weekend in your
alcohol
home.
is expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, well, there's like this alcohol store where you buy all your booze in like in Finland.
Yeah, in Finland you only get to buy alcohol in the state-run stores, which is kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I think it sucks big time from my perspective.
But at the same time.
But luckily we have one shop in the village because they are not very common up north. I mean.
No. And also there was this new law, I think 2 years ago maybe, that now they can sell wine in supermarket, which is up to 5.5%.
That's not really wine.
I know, but I mean, like before people bought the wine, which is like 0% of alcohol, and thought like it's wine, and then they come to the hostel like, oh, we have wine from the supermarket. And it's like
that's
nope.
no moon.
Yeah. So at least there's some percentage.
That's not wine.
No.
Yeah. So buy your booze from the alco store. Yeah. But we're talking about these fine dining places. What are they?
Well, basically there's Haltiakammi. That's a little bit.
Haltiakammi.
Yeah.
What kind of place is that?
Oh, it's a really nice place. Like it's in like old stone building, and they are reflecting the northern lights on the ceiling. So if you're not lucky for some reason with the northern lights out in the nature, you can see them on the ceiling.
But that's a special place. You cannot just walk in. You have to book in advance.
Normally, yeah. Well, it's
and
always
it's a bit
better.
far away from here.
It's 10 kilometers from here, in the middle of nowhere. So you can see the northern lights there as well.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? And what else? They are now building like a new pizza place in the town as well. So who knows what's going to happen? Like during the Corona time, we had like loads of new things coming here, which is good because We normally just have the restaurants and the pubs, but
Yeah.
now we got like really good sushi and
You do?
Yeah, now in the supermarket you can get
it's
sushi.
supermarket sushi.
Yeah.
Takeaway sushi.
No, but there's like a really good chef making it, like handmade sushi.
Okay.
So it's not crap
It's
thing.
a good sushi.
Yeah,
takeaway.
it's the best one.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know.
So, how life is here in such a small place? I mean, do you get bored of here, or like, what do you do for fun?
For fun.
For fun. Nothing? Work.
I'm going to a pub and get drunk.
Well,
Well.
is there anything else in life then?
No, probably not. I mean, like there's some bands coming to play here, like during the winter time, so it's always like good to get something like that. Otherwise, like I'm used to living in bigger cities and towns, and for me it's been quite a struggle to adjust here. I'm not really saying I'm completely feeling like home here yet. At the same time, it's really safe here. Like you can walk in the middle of the night in the street and like,
There's nobody.
there's nobody really. And sometimes some reindeers maybe.
Yeah.
But
Keeping you company.
yeah, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I kind of need maybe, or would like to have different kind of services and different kind of places, but then I can go to Rovaniemi and go to my rock bar there and like
Change of scenery.
yeah, I really need that when living here like all year round.
I see. So, does the winter darkness get to you? Like, do you get tired, maybe depressed from the lack of light?
No, not in Lapland. I mean, like it's
Because it does get to me. I can feel
Does
like
it?
I can feel I need more sleep and I'm more tired. Like that's
I mean, like
how
maybe
your body reacts.
maybe in southern Finland and also in Rovaniemi the weather can be a bit different than here. Like, I don't know.
Well, I guess it's personal. Like
Yes.
how that. I used not to get affected by that. Like when I was younger, and I just didn't care really.
Yeah.
You have so much energy anyway. But nowadays, I mean, I do feel the lack of light. I mean, it's just you feel that you just don't have that same energy as you have like in summer, for example.
Yeah. For me it's like I would feel more depressed if I was living in southern Finland during the winter time. I love winter and I want to have like full of winters. But then there's a difference, like now during the summer I sleep less and it's kind of horrible. Like if I go to somewhere else where like the sun sets at 6 o'clock in the evening and sun rises 6 o'clock in the morning, that's like you have a rhythm, but here you don't have, because like in the summer it's 24-hour daylight and during the winter it's only a few hours. So basically it's never normal, like kind of the normal that you would go to sleep at certain hour and then wake up in the certain hour based on like the sun.
Yeah.
So for me it's like maybe for me winters are maybe easier than summers, because in the summer I sleep much less.
I see. So you said that you would rather still be here than in southern Finland, and that's because the winter is pretty much not non-existing thing in southern Finland. Is that the reason?
Yeah, for at least for the past couple of years.
Or is there any other reason that you choose here instead of southern Finland?
Well, of course it's more beautiful here, maybe.
Yeah, well, that's only one of them.
Yeah. Well, basically it's safe and fresh air, like really nice nature and real winters. Personally, I would be away from here from end of April until sometime, well, maybe end of October, because I don't really like the summers here. But that's
don't?
just, no.
Why is that?
Because I miss being in a t-shirt and just you know, like having hot summers, more than plus 25 degrees. And so I'm used to that. And here it's normally it's cold. This summer has been really strange. Like it's been quite warm all the time, but still not warm enough for me.
So you'd rather spend your summers in like very hot and dry climate, and then your winters up here in the cold.
Yeah, that's my kind of a dream, but we'll see if that happens.
I see. The one thing that we didn't cover yet is that many people ask if it's easy to see wild animals here. So what would you answer these people, and what kind of animals can you see here?
Well, basically during the winter time you can see only the reindeers, and they are wild, kind of wild. They are somebody owns them, but at the same time they're just walking freely in the village and in the forest. But during the springtime, like when the snow starts melting, you can see the birds, you can see the hares, elks. What else? Like all kinds of, suddenly like the nature becomes alive again. But during the winter time you don't really see that much.
I see. So in winter many animals hibernate, and it's much more difficult to see them anyway because you cannot move so freely around with the snow. So you would say that for those who would like to spot some wildlife, they would better come in summer.
In the summer or in the springtime, for sure. Like, I don't know, feels like all the hares and even like baby reindeers.
Yeah, those are adorable. Yeah.
So you see much more like early summertime.
Yeah, but you don't see bears here. That's what many people ask. Like, do you have bears walking in the streets here?
Not in the streets, no, but they are really close by, like a few kilometers from here. But you have to be extremely lucky to see them, like extremely.
Yeah, and then why is that?
Sorry?
Why is that?
Well, first they avoid people. So like they don't come and greet you.
Yeah, hello tourists. I'm the bear.
Yeah, no, they don't do that. But like,
Well,
I mean, like
unless you pay them very well.
Yeah, it's Lapland after all. But I mean, like they are here. Also, the wolves are here, but you don't see them. They are wild animals, so you shouldn't actually be able to see them.
They like their privacy.
Yeah.
All right. In any case, thanks for this wonderful talk, Tinja.
No worries.
Go find Tinja's hostel and book from her site, because that's more affordable for anyone.
Yeah, I mean, like if you book on certain booking sites, we pay 15 to 20% of commission.
That's obscene. That's how the world is.
Yeah. And in the other booking sites, you pay more. So basically, like the most affordable prices are through our own website.
On the site. So it's www.7 as in SEVEN Fells FELLS hostel.com.
Yeah.
That's the place to go. And also, of course, follow Tinja's social media accounts at 7 as a number 7 Fells.
Yes,
Hostel.
we don't make it too easy.
We are not easy to find.
No.
And of course, if you want to see the video versions of our podcasts, you can do that on our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/allaboutLapland, and on our YouTube page, which is also called All About Lapland. This is when you can see us interact. And for voice-only podcasts, you can join us on all the major platforms, including Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, and the others as well. And of course, you can find all of the episodes to listen on our website, allaboutLapland.fi. I think that's it with the plugs. Yeah.
I think so.
I think
I'm just talking here.
I think it's a nice info package for everyone. Well, anyway, cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Big up. Big up, and hopefully it all goes well for you folks here in Ylläs.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed. All right.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
Cool. Thank you.